Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Victoria from Keep It Holistic, where I talk about healthy living, motherhood, and more. And today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite baby essentials. So these are more minimalist than maybe some other people's, because I think a lot of people, when you get to your third or fourth baby, you realize like what you need and what you don't need, because like with your first one you have no idea and you're just kind of going off of what the registry suggestions are and stuff, and then like you're like you never use the wipe warmer that somebody gave you. So I'm going to be going over like the really like the basic stuff and stuff that I found to be actually useful. So if you've watched my healthy baby items video, I have one like my top 5 healthy baby items and my top 5 not healthy baby items that I don't recommend. I did that video like a year ago, and so this video is kind of similar to that, but this is like specifically stuff that I'm using for this baby. So one of the things I mentioned in that video I would say is essential, and that is going to be a baby carrier, some type of baby carrying like either a wrap or a sling or something like that. That for me has always been essential, because I've never met a baby, I've never had a baby that doesn't want to be held, doesn't want to be close to you, and I find that I can't get anything done unless I have the baby right on me. So anyway, I find it to be really critical to have at least, I'd say like 2 of those in the newborn stage. It's good to have a couple of them because the baby spits up quite a bit. The second essential item is kind of obvious. You definitely have to have some type of car seat. And I've always bought my car seats brand new, because you know, you don't know if like a used one, unless it's like from a trusted friend, you don't know if the used one has been in like in an accident or something happened to it and it's not effective. So I always get a brand new car seat, and I always check the expiration date on it, because with my first child, I got sent a brand new car seat from like Babies R Us back when they had Babies R Us, and the car seat was already like a year, like it was already had been sitting on the shelf for a year. So instead of having like 6 years before the expiration date for this infant seat, it was only like 5 years, and I was like, okay, this is not good. So anyways, you got to really be careful about that and check the expiration dates. My previous babies, I've always had a infant car seat, and that's been convenient, and I think it just depends on what you like. So in the past, like I've used that and snapped it into our stroller that we have. It all snaps into one system, so it's nice sometimes. Like you don't have to wake the baby up when you're getting in and out of the car. You can just snap them into the stroller. However, I find in my personal experience that babies tend to be happier, including when we're out places, when they're on me. And so I tried doing this with my last baby, where I snap them into the stroller, but a lot of times she would just start crying partway through. Like I'd be at the store getting things and she'd start crying, and I have to carry her, and I'm trying to push the stroller around. It just became inconvenient for me. So I personally have decided this time that I'm just gonna get the 4-in-1 like convertible car seat. Like it's an all-in-one system, so you use it from birth all the way up until they grow out of the car seat, which is like 8 years old. It's gonna get like an all-in-one thing, so that I don't have to keep buying new car seats, because that's what's happened with our other kids, where they outgrow the infant seat, then you need like a, you know, rear facing seat, and then you need like a forward facing seat, and then you need a booster seat, and it ends up becoming really expensive, especially when you have multiple kids. So if you have, you know, multiple kids, or you're thinking maybe you'll have more than one child, I would recommend getting the convertible car seat, but it's up to you. You know, sometimes the infant one can be a little bit more convenient. Obviously, the other essential item that you're gonna need is obviously you're gonna need some kind of baby clothes and blankets. So for clothes, I usually try to have like a set maybe of like 7 or 10 onesies. It depends on the time of year that your baby's born. So this baby's gonna be born in May. So obviously I'm not gonna need as much clothing. They're just gonna need like onesies and blankets. If you're having a baby in the winter, they're gonna need like more layers, like sweaters and stuff like that. But it's kind of convenient having a baby during the warmer months, because then you don't have to worry about that. They're gonna spit up a lot, so you'll want to have a good number of outfits. Highly recommend getting sleepers with the zipper and not the buttons. I know some people might like the buttons because you can just undo the ones on the bottom and then pull it up and change your diaper real quick. But for me, I find all the little snaps and buttons really tedious. And I also try to have like maybe a couple outfits for like going out places, you know, really it looks a little bit nicer. But those are kind of the essentials. Like, make sure you have a few socks, you know, maybe some pants. I find though, when I have babies in the summer and where I live it's really hot, I don't really need a lot of pairs of pants. I just put them in onesies and then wrap them up in a blanket. Like if they're in their car seat, I just tuck the blanket on their lap or something. And I like to use the muslin blankets because they're pretty breathable, and I live in a hotter climate, so that's more convenient for me. You're definitely also going to need some kind of hats, you know, something to keep the baby's head warm. Even during the summer, like, you know, I make sure I have at least a few hats. And that kind of leads into my next thing, is that you don't really have to buy the little spit up cloths. I forgot what they're called, like bird cloths or something like that. You don't have to buy those, but you want to have some kind of like rags or some kind of washcloth or something to clean up spit up, because babies do spit up a lot. Then the next essential item, and this depends on your situation and what you want to do, you want to have some place for the baby to sleep. And if you're using like a bassinet or a crib, you're going to want to make sure that you have sheets for that. It's easy to forget that. So make sure you get a fitted sheet, probably some kind of waterproof protector for the mattress. So I'm using a bedside bassinet, so I gotta remember to get the sheet for that. But babies don't really need, in my experience, like a huge nursery. I've never really used the nursery in the first few months. Baby usually sleeps in my room for the first 6 months. So what I'm planning to do is have the baby in the bassinet, and then when they get closer to 6 months, because we're moving right now, we haven't purchased a crib yet, but once we get closer to 6 months, then we'll get them a crib. The next thing that you have to think about is, you know, what you're going to do for their diapers. So I like to use cloth diapers, and that's very minimalist, because you just buy like a set of cloth diapers at once, and then you don't have to buy any more. You know, there's no waste. And I also do cloth wipes as well, and I put them in all in a wet bag, so that keeps everything really contained and easy, and it avoids having to go out and buy a ton of stuff. As far as changing them though, some people like to have a dedicated changing table for the baby. I found that to be helpful, because it allows you to stand up. You don't have to like hunch over and change them on the floor or something. But this baby, I'm planning on just changing them on the bed, and I'll just get a changing pad, a portable changing pad, and then I have that to kind of move around the house if I need to change them in different areas. So the next thing is going to be feeding, and I'm going to be breastfeeding, at least I'm planning to. So I don't really have to worry about all that equipment and stuff that, you know, comes along with bottle feeding, but I have like a set of like 3 or 4 glass bottles. I've hardly used those. I've only used them like if I'm going to be away from the baby for a little bit and I need to have somebody else feed them, but most of the time I keep the baby with me so that I don't have to mess with all that. It's nice to, if you are, you know, want a cover, something like that, getting a breastfeeding cover might be helpful. But honestly, I've always just taken a baby blanket. I bring those with me anyway for the baby. I just take it and drape it over my shoulder if I'm out somewhere and need to feed them. It's definitely a good idea to get a pump, though, a breast pump, you know, because you never know, like there might be a time where you have to be away from the baby. Like for example, I had a surgery like when my baby was like a year old, and I needed to use the breast pump so I could pump and dump so that the baby didn't get the, you know, contaminated breast milk. So it's good to have a breast pump, and usually you can get those if you have health insurance, then you can get those for free through your insurance. Also, it's good to have a Haka breast pump, and those things are like these little, it's like this little suction thing that suctions onto your breast, and so when you're feeding your baby on one side, it collects the milk on the other side, because in the first few months you're going to leak on the opposite side when you're feeding. So I really like having the Haka breast pump, because then I can kind of build up a little stash of milk, and then whenever I need to, you know, be somewhere without my baby, then somebody else can feed the baby for me. Also, it's good to have the breast milk storage bags or some kind of way to store the frozen milk or refrigerated milk when you pump it. And I think this is the last one, is baby's bath. I mean, it's pretty simple. You just need some kind of soap and a place to bathe the baby, so you have to think about that. For me, I keep it really simple with the soap. I just use Dr. Bronner's if I need to, but most of the time baby just needs like some water on them. But usually babies only need a bath like once a week. They don't get really that stinky. And then I have had a bathtub. I got it from my baby registry with my first child, so I've kept that bathtub. I like the bathtub because you do have to bend down over into the tub to use it, but I do like it because it keeps the baby kind of held up and head out of the water and stuff. I don't like using sinks. So for me, I like to use the bathtub, but it's really not essential at all. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I use for baby. Things like a stroller, I will probably start using that more when the baby starts sitting up, but the first 6 months, the baby's gonna be in a sling or wrap or whatever on me. That's what I'm planning to do. But I do have a stroller for my other kids that I will use once the baby gets bigger. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my baby essentials, my minimalist baby essentials. So if you have any questions, or maybe, you know, there's something that you have found that's been really essential, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you guys and hear what you guys think is, you know, what your essentials are. So please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon. Be well, guys.